Very good evening to you. Guys, it's Gene from maverickstar Observatory and welcome. Just a couple of things I wanted to go over tonight. First of all, we're going to do an Earth Alpha at a glance tomorrow. I've been busy the last few days. You guys have got me to yourself for the next couple of days, so let's hit the road running tomorrow with Earth Alpha at a glance. Let's look even at the Schumann frequency as well as Arctic sea ice. What's been going on with the volcanic eruptions around the world. We'll also take a quick look over the last 24 hours what the largest magnitude earthquake is. And if you want to see any of these things, go over to poleshiftnews.com. That is being updated regularly for you guys, every single day, multiple times, in subtopics, not all, but it is regularly updated for you guys. And what we try to do there is a one-stop shop for all the geo anomalies that are taking place. So there is the poleshiftnews.com website for you to go and have a look at. Before I go any further, again, one of our busiest days of the month, and we do this now twice a month for you guys. We do the location and pinpointing of the magnetic North Pole for you, and yet just a couple of people yet again coming to the rescue of this observatory. I don't know what goes through some people's minds, but I can assure you one thing, it is a real observatory. Right now you're listening to a real scientist, and we are one of a kind. You won't find another YouTube channel with a trimag system pinpointing the location of the magnetic North Pole on YouTube, and you won't find a dedicated website like ours. And we cover not just that. If you follow us, we cover sea ice, Arctic extent, and it's at a 10-year high. Over 3 million square kilometres of extra ice, which is not getting reported by your mainstream media at all. And we all know why that is, because they want to push this agenda, this lie that they have plagued on the whole of this planet, not just here in the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United States and the South Americas. It is global what they've done. This small syndicate of crooks have got together. Not only have they doubled the price of energy, which has driven up twice the amount of what things were costing a couple of years ago, or even 12 months ago. They're doing this to us, and they are blatantly lying, and there is no scientific evidence behind their claims. This is exactly what you get from corrupt politicians. It's because they don't know any better. They're not smart enough to fabricate something almost convincing. Trust me when I say this, there is not to this day scientific peer-reviewed documents that support CO2 is responsible for climate change. Not one scientific paper published. They are lying to us, and in doing so they are knocking us out the game. All we want to do is participate. We're even prepared to participate in their monetary system that they've got, this capital system, even though the capital system was designed so that if you worked hard, you could get rewards. If you worked harder than others, then you was entitled to that little bit more because you'd done that little bit extra. It doesn't make any difference anymore, because if you work hard, you get penalised for it, and if you cross a certain threshold, you get taxed 40%. Let me put this into perspective. I'm sure most of you have heard of the billionaire Richard Branson. He tried to, during lockdown, claim money for his airline company, but they told him at the time that he wasn't entitled to it because he hadn't paid tax to the British government for 14 years. Now, whether eventually he got some money, handouts, or not, is another topic, but this is what I'm talking about. You don't pay taxes and you're a billionaire, whilst the lowest bidder is working 1 or 2 jobs, and if he crosses that limit, which isn't very much, guys, but if he crosses that limit, he's almost taxed double after that point in time. There is in its entirety the failure of this capital system that we are now in. And when governments do not protect the public and do not have the public interest at hand and the public welfare and the well-being of the public, then they are tyrants and dictators, because they will not to this day have the debate in public regarding what is climate change. They are still hell-bent on selling us CO2 driving climate, and they are omitting what you are looking at right now on the screen. They don't want to talk about the Holocene warm period, the Roman warm period, the medieval warm period, and if we go back to 13,000 years ago, they do not want to talk about the Younger Dryas, because the Younger Dryas was the end of the last glacial period. And we are, as you can see on that top chart, where the present temperature line is, on the right hand side, you will see that we are about to dive below that point where the temperature is indicated. And what is important about that is because we have seen the best days we are likely to see, and we are emerging back into a glacial period, and this world is not prepared for it. And that is exactly what you would expect by criminals that are more interested in stuffing their pockets full of money, flying round in jets, and then turning round to the average person like me and you saying, you've got to drive an electric car, you've got to cut back on the amount of emissions that you consume, and trust me, it's coming. Your carbon credits are coming, and when you've run out of carbon credits for that month, you won't be eating beef, you won't be going on holiday with your family, and you may not be allowed to drive your car. This is coming rapid to your front door, and it's going to be knocking there very soon, guys, and you better start paying attention, because none of this, what I'm talking about, is fairy tales. This is facts, and scientific facts, backing those facts up. These corrupt politicians are off the chart, and I'm going to tell you now what I was sent by a good friend of ours here on the observatory, who does a lot of research, sends regular emails to me, has just dropped me an email over the last few days stating that the Biden administration and the space program are going to be attempting to block out solar rays from the sun. Can you believe that? We're entering a period of time where we are going back into a glacial period, and these crazy bastards, and I'm sorry for swearing but it's justified, these crazy people are going to block out the sunlight. We're already, if we just be a little bit more patient, we will see that climate is going down. The temperatures are dropping. The ice is rebounding over the Arctic Circle right now, and has been doing so for the last 10 years, guys. 10 years. 1 decade, the ice has been rebounding. Go over to poleshiftnews.com. You can go to sea ice levels on the right hand side column, select sea ice, Arctic sea ice levels, and you'll see the last couple of hours data on that. It's breaking records still on the 10th year, which means the ice is increasing. And if you want to get an idea how big 3 million square kilometres is, it covers the entire European continent and England and Ireland, as well as a large area surrounding it. It's a huge area, and they won't talk about it. And the reason why they won't talk about it is because if they start talking about it, you're going to start asking the questions, why the hell are you still taxing us And why are you still driving this agenda to reduce carbon down to zero by 2030? Why are you doing these things? And they won't answer that question, just like they won't have the debate, and they won't produce any scientific peer-reviewed documents that support their crappy little arguments to say that global warming is a product of human beings pumping more CO2 into the atmosphere. They won't do it. It's because they can't. It is a pack of lies, and that is exactly how they are treating us, like idiots. Now, I understand not many people can afford themselves the time to do the research to find out exactly what I've said and what I'm showing you is 100% true and accurate. A lot of people just don't have the time because they're too busy running round on that wheel now twice as fast as there was previously. And that's exactly what these crappy politicians around the world want you to do. They're pacifying you. They are distracting your attention away from things that would, make it impossible for them to be re-elected if the majority of the people of this planet realised what was going on. Because I don't care what people say in the comment section. I really believe that the most people that are the majority of our 60,000 subscribers do have good intentions. They want the best for themselves, and they want it for their fellow brothers and sisters, their family members, their loved ones, their community, their town, their city. We all would love to prosper together, and we could have that. It could be what is described as a heaven on earth. If we wanted it, we could have it. But we have all got to come together and say, no more. No more stupid people in politics. No more stupid, corrupt thieves on the hands of the public tax purse. You're not spending our money on supporting wars around this world. You're not spending our money on more nuclear missiles. You're not spending our money on more chemical or biological weapons. You know what I'm talking about, but I can't spell that out. We need to start getting together. We can't just have the same old people like JBM, who is a lifesaver for this observatory. Jamie, who is a lifesaver for this observatory that recently chucked in a few bucks for our observatory to keep it going for all of us. And Sally, and that's just to mention just a couple of them. But they're not in massive numbers, guys. We're not raking it in here at this observatory. We're just about getting by. We are exactly the same as you guys. We want a fair old crack of the whip, and we'll be happy. We don't mind exchanging our hard work for a fair price. And let's face it, what is being cut back are the little luxuries that some of us enjoy, and it really annoys me that you can't afford to go out at least once a week and take your family out for a meal. Surely we all work hard enough for that, and we should get it, but we're not. How dare they fly round in their private jets and then at the same time tell us not to use combustion engine cars? They sit on that private jet pumping out tons and tons of carbon into the atmosphere, and then they come up with schemes that are going to stop me and you travelling away, if we're lucky, once every year, once every 2 years. It has got to stop. If the Biden administration go ahead, and it's been seriously considered to block out sunlight, who knows what that can do, because there is always a payoff, and it always isn't the case where it worked out exactly how they thought it would. If this goes wrong, you could change forever the climate on this earth. What we should be doing is living alongside nature on this planet, not trying to make nature live alongside us. And I think they're going one step too far on this. Guys, there is a link down there. Can we see a way in which more of us, do a little bit more to support what we're trying to do here? Can we do that? Can we, stop the bickering over small things? Can we just meet on some common grounds? That this has got to stop. It has to stop. We need to work together. Trust me, if the observatory went tomorrow, it would be a massive loss to the 60,000 subscribers that we've got. It would be a massive loss to the 20,000 that come and visit that information every week on our website. But more than anything else, it would be that little spark of light in the vast darkness of bullshit. And there are very few now of those little sparks of light, because they are shutting them down one by one, and they're gradually bringing darkness into everybody's world. So if you can, seriously consider helping us out. The link is down there in the description. I want to thank those that do. They're not big numbers. Sometimes you can count them on your both hands, which I think is a little bit sad, because we've got 60,000 people subscribed to this channel now. But in reality, I think it's how many you had view your last video. So we could have 10,000 active subscribers going on the last video. So big thanks to those small amount of people that are part of the patrons as well. Link is there, guys. I know it requires a little bit of effort and your time, but we've got to start pulling together. I'm going to say what I usually do. You take care of your loved ones, family members, friends, community. Extend it from your own. Once you've looked after yourselves, then extend it out to others. As always, bye for now.